Okay, I am going to demonstrate making spouts for pitchers as well as for teapots. This is a vase form that I've thrown. I just threw it, and I've left the rim, just the rim, really thick. And the reason why I did that is one of the nice things about the pitchers, well, some pitchers, not all pitchers, but I like the spout to have an extension out from the body, but also I like it when the spout is a little bit higher, like the end of the spout is higher than the rim of the rest of the pot. Okay, so leaving a real thick rim like this will help you achieve those things. So what we'll do first is I'm going to use this part of my index finger and my thumb. I want them to be wet. And what I'm about to do is a lot like pulling a handle for a cup. So I'm going to start stroking, and I'm squeezing with a light pressure, and I'm going from side to side, not of the entire pot, but just this is probably maybe about a 2-inch area. Okay. And I'm not letting my index finger and thumb touch at the end of the stroke. I'm leaving a little space, because if you let them touch, what's going to happen is that this very edge is going to get really thin. Okay, so I'm just trying to use that thick clay as a means to thin and stretch this part of the rim to give more gesture, thrust. Okay, so I'm working more on this part, the middle part, less so on the ends. The water is really important, otherwise you're more apt to tear the clay. All right. You can see that. So now what I'll do is I want these two parts to come in. So notice how I'm using my hands. So I'm pushing with my thumb to get that curve, that sharp curve in, and then these two fingers are pushing the other direction. Same thing over here. Check to make sure that it's looking more or less the same on both sides for symmetry. All right, so now I'm going to use this middle finger on the inside here, and then these two fingers on the outside on either side. So they're going to be working this way, and that'll create a throat, or gullet. See if you can see. I guess I'm going to use these two fingers on the outside. And I want them to be spaced the same as these two impressions, or close to it. It can be narrower and then wider if you want. It's up to you. So that helps get more exaggeration. And what it's doing, it's directing the liquid down here to channel through the spout. And then last thing is I want this to be arced more, and so I can gently stroke that spout to get the flare that I'm after. All right, so that is spout for pitcher. And then because the rim is distorted, This is one of the few types of pots that I'll allow my students to not trim the foot from underneath. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate making teapot spouts. Some things to consider. Well, definitely consider proportion. So this is a demo pot that I made a long time ago. The spout is very long, gracious, and it seems to be consistent with this long body. That spout was thrown and altered. And then with this teapot, the body is short and bulbous, and that's also reflected in the short stubby spout that we have here. So I'm going to show you how to make a spout that has that S-curve, this nice S-curve. It's not required, there are simpler spouts, but if you want one with a little bit more character, you'll want to consider what I'm about to show you. With teapots, you'll want to take a look at the jar that I have on, the video on jars. There's this one video that shows you how to make a flanged lid. And most teapots have a flanged lid. It's like with this one, that piece of clay that extends down into the teapot, that's a flange. And what it does is it lowers the center of gravity of the lid so that the lid stays in position when you go to pour. So you don't have to use two hands when pouring. The spout that I'm making is to go for this bulbous body, and this is the lid that I threw upside down with the flange. So again, refer to that other video to see how that was made. This video focuses just on spouts. Just throwing, it's basically a small vase. If the rim is higher on one side, don't worry about it. That can work to your advantage on spouts, on teapot spouts, like this one. Okay. I'm going to allow the top to flare. All right. So in the drying and in the glaze firing, the clay can twist a little bit, and so this high part of the spout, I'll have it point to over my left shoulder. So it happens in the drying and firing that the spout can turn this way, so it can turn as you're looking at the spout, the mouth of the spout, it can turn counterclockwise. So just have it point that way ever so slightly. So if it doesn't end up rotating on you, it won't look really off either. So just have it just pointing there slightly. Okay, so I'm going to wet my index finger and well, these two fingers, and I'm going to create like a hook shape, and I'm going to gently hold the side of the mouth, and I'm going to bend it or cock it over. Okay. I don't care about the side so much. I'm worried more about what's happening on this side, right? And we're going to get rid of this excess clay. So now the opposite side of that curve that we've created, or where I was bending, where I was touching the clay, I'll do a vertical cut, and then I'll make a cut that's shaped this way. It's 2 arcs. And these are dark cuts. I'll just trace the shape that I'm going to be cutting. So hoping you can see it in the video. And I'll just remove that material. If possible, try to cut out a bevel. So I have the tool angled this way. Keep that same angle on the other side. And what that's doing is it's giving you more surface area at the cut. Probably ideally you'd want to wait maybe like an hour after you've thrown this, so the clay's not so flimsy on you. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just dealing with it right away. And now I'm going to bend the 2 ends over. Let's see. So with waiting an hour, the clay will still be pretty soft to be able to do this. And you don't really need to clean up the seam right now, and you can wait till the clay is leather hard. I'm just trying to get more of the profile that I'm after. So it's sagged. All right, and then on this is where I made the cut in the joint. On the same side, I'm going to cut through here, and this side I'm going to do a leaf shape and a bevel as well, so keeping the same angle on the tool. Okay, and then when I push to join the 2 ends together, more or less kind of collapses in. Don't worry about the corner that you have here. Oops, that can be modified, squared away once the clay is leather hard. Okay, so once the clay is stiffer, you can, I'm just going to remove this. Once the clay is a little stiffer, then you can fine-tune the shape, etc. So I've gone ahead and cut the floor out, and this is where you can, and the clay's still a little wet, a little too wet, but again, I'm just showing you the process. It's stiffer than the other one that I was working with. But anyway, you clean up the seam, get how you're wanting, and especially if it's a wet leather hard, it allows you to do some other changes. Like I'm just taking my wet finger, and I'm going to stroke this part from the inside if I want to create a fuller throat. Okay. So that you have a really nice gesture, and you're not going to use this entire piece for your on your teapot. There's going to be a portion that you're going to cut away so that it attaches at the right angle and such on the teapot. But let this get to leather hard, and then you can fine-tune the seam more, make slight adjustments with the shape. But the majority of the shaping's already done, which is good. Because once it's leather hard, if you try to force the shape to change too much, the wall's going to crack on you. So there'll be another video where I do the trimming of the teapot, trim the lid, and attach the spout.